I'd like to call the Finance Committee to order. Do we have anyone that would like to address the committee?
Linda Noe, 2343 Joe Stevens Road. I tried numerous times to get documents this morning, and I did finally get some about this meeting. And about 2:45, I received your scores that you had already submitted, and they were tallied. And we all know that Mr. LaBelle has, 765 points, and CBRE 600 and, let's see, it was 20 or 30, I can't read it. But one of the most interesting things is, if you'll remember back in March, you actually voted to give it to Mr. LaBelle without doing an RFQ. And it may have been February, but now we're here. You did your little thing that looked like you were opening it up. You have one other proposal, CBRE. And I'm just going to ask flat out, Mr. Board, why did you give CBRE 2 zeros?
Because I had had personal experience with one of the two real estate agents, and it wasn't a favorable experience.
Okay. It must have been pretty bad.
It dealt with a building that I rented in Knoxville.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
Do you feel maybe you should have not scored them at all?
I don't know why that would matter.
I'm just asking, just the fact that you had your personal experience and that bled over into what you score them on for the county.
I think that's relative to what the transaction would be here.
Okay.
I know I base a lot of my decisions off of past experience. Do you do the same?
Like you did with Mr. Wright, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It just stuck out like an unbelievable sore thumb when people who have not had any, as you say, negative experience didn't come anywhere near a zero in any category for either submittal. Then we have Mr. Reed absent. I mean, did everybody not get an opportunity? Could he not fill out a form? Or did he just choose? How can you be absent?
Chairman, I think he's in Crossville.
He's not in town.
Yeah.
When did these go out?
Monday? Thursday. Pick mine up on Monday.
I can see if they went out on a Thursday and you've got to get them back. When were they due?
Monday at 5.
Did we have another? The only good thing that has come out of this is you do need to open things up, and then you need to be fair to people. You're going to end up, as you have in so many things, with nobody will submit proposals. They know it's a done deal. I knew this was a done deal when 5 of you voted for LaBelle, even though there'd been no RFQ the first go-around. This was just a process to look like you were open. And until you truly open up, you're just going to get fewer and fewer proposals. Thank you.
Chairman, can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Linda, do you have a personal problem with Paul LaBelle that we need to know or anything? Because you've complained about him for quite some time. How long?
Tell you the story.
Right, so that's a personal issue right there then, correct?
It's not related to this, to a proposal of this. It was related to a city
Chairman DeBoer's
MUS event.
Chairman DeBoer's got the same issue then, so.
But he's getting to vote on LaBelle. I don't get to vote on
You're
LaBelle.
talking bad about him?
I didn't say anything bad. I
Talking
said
negative.
it was a
Talking
done
negative about it.
deal.
Okay.
I'm talking bad about you all. It's a done deal.
Okay, well, that's good.
You're about the most done deal of them all.
Almost.
Do we have anyone else who would like to address the committee?
Good evening, guys. Chris Black, 7335 Evelyn Circle in Talbot. This will be very brief, but I think it kind of will show what might be the problem here. You know, Mr. LaBelle, he's a good guy. I've known him for years. I haven't talked to him in about a decade since I went to school, but he's a good guy and has been very successful in this community as a real estate agent or property manager, whatever that may be. The problem that people are having here in Hamilton County with this particular deal from the folks I've talked to just comes from the fact that it kind of doesn't look all that great when, you know, as Ms. Noy said, and I actually spoke at that meeting as well, you guys were ready to give him the contract to begin with. Thankfully, you've decided to open it up. That's great, but he used to serve on this commission, used to serve on the Morristown City Council as well. Again, admirable public service in most instances. There are areas at which I disagree with, but that's normal. But the problem here is how many of you guys on this commission actually served with Mr. LaBelle when he was on the commission? That's the first issue. It kind of looks like there might be some kind of interplay here. I'm not saying there is, but it might raise the question that there could be, okay, within the community. Beyond that, folks here in Hamilton County just don't have a very good taste in their mouth when it comes to how you guys oftentimes handle these contracts. Y'all are ready to go, and y'all would have went ahead had it not been for folks like Ms. Noy and folks from the COAG group, folks like me, coming out and saying y'all might want to open this up for an RFQ. So again, you know, there is the illusion of possible impropriety, not saying there is any, but possible. And that's why folks have this issue. So I do think there's a problem when, Chairman of the Board, when you're giving folks zeros on a questionnaire. I know I've had some negative experiences with folks too. Heck, even with that little survey that's being put out by Hamilton County government, I've rated Hamilton County government awful on a number of things, and y'all know I have, just because I'm ticked off. But we can give people low scores all day long, but I just don't think that a score of 0 on a survey like this looks very good. And it kind of looks like you were just so ticked off when you did the survey at whoever was at CBRE that you just didn't want to score them at all. So that's the problem that people are having. I thank you for your time. Thank you for the opportunity of letting me speak, and I hope y'all make a good decision here tonight. And y'all know that I'm not ready to shut up yet. Y'all hear more from me at the next county commission meeting. Take care.
Anyone else who would like to address the committee? All right, the first in recurring business, we have none. In old business, we have none. And then in new business, Mayor Britton, can you tell us about the real estate RFQ?
Sure. At the request of the commission, Finance Department issued an RFQ for real estate services, and this is specifically for finding a location for a new health department and having the opportunity for the state to pay for the bulk of a new health department building. We did receive 2 responses from the RFQ, CBRE's office in Knoxville and LaBelle Commercial Realty. So those are the 2 proposals that you received the information from, and both have representatives here to make presentations. We've allotted them 15 minutes before you guys to present their credentials and their qualifications, and they're prepared to do that.
Okay. Mr. Brian Tapp is with CBRE. I'd like to request you speak to the RFQ.
Thanks, Chairman. Hello, I'm Brian Tapp with CBRE. Thank you all for inviting me to come talk today. Unfortunately, John Adams is out sick today, but he wishes he could be here. I'll quickly go over a snapshot of CBRE, our team, and our public institutions and education solutions practice. And lastly, we'll cover our acquisition services and how we can help you guys. As you may or may not know, CBRE is the largest commercial real estate firm in the world. We are #1 in the global market position in leasing, property sales, property management, occupier outsourcing, and valuation. We have over 105,000 employees, 90 of the Fortune 100 clients, and we are ourselves a Fortune 122 firm. So how does this benefit Hamlin County? You get the best of both worlds with the resources and the reach and scale of a large firm combined with the local market knowledge of an East Tennessee team. Bigger is not always better, but in this case, the county has both benefits of local presence and global resources. For Knoxville and East Tennessee, CBRE has closed $11.4 million in transactions in the Hamlin County area in 2021, and we've done $3 billion statewide. The local team is comprised of me and John Adams. I'm from Knoxville, born in East Tennessee, University of Tennessee graduate. I worked in Washington, D.C. for 4 years, and part of that gig was with Congressman Van Hillary, and Hamlin County was in our district when I was there. I moved back home in 2004 and 05 and got into commercial real estate at that time. During my time with, I've worked with clients like Ruby Tuesday, Regal Entertainment Group, and others. And we handle acquisition services nationally for Ruby Tuesday's project called Lime Fresh Mexican Grill, and we manage brokers in states east of the Mississippi River. On the public side, we are currently representing the city of Maryville on the disposition of an 84-acre site. We recently sold most of the property to Amazon for a last-mile facility. I'm a CCIM designee, and I'm also an SIOR member, and I'm specialized in industrial. And if you don't know, SIOR is the Society of Industrial and Office Realtors, and we represent the world's elite in industrial and office real estate. The SIOR designation signifies the highest standards among industrial and office professionals. Why is this important to you? CCIMs and SIOR stay at the forefront of innovation in commercial real estate education, access to exclusive resources, and knowledge from real-life experiences shared between members. John Adams, my partner, is born in East Tennessee. He's also a University of Tennessee graduate, CCIM designee, and SIOR member as well, and he is an office specialist. Other team members that we would have that we focused on this project is Steve Kolinsky, who's our managing director in Nashville, and he'll make sure that we have all the necessary resources to help the county. And then we also have Lee Ann Korst, and she runs CBRE's Southeast Region Government Practice, and she's the former director of real estate for the state of Florida, and what she brings to the table is best practices for her peers. In addition, CBRE runs the real estate acquisition process for the state of Tennessee for Middle and West Tennessee, and we've also done work for TVA, and currently work for the city of Chattanooga and Davidson County. To talk a little bit more about the public sector group, you know, one of the benefits of this large company is that we've got specialty areas for everything. If you want to sell an RV park, we've got somebody for that. If you want to sell a marina, we've got somebody for that. If you want to do occupier services for industrial, we do that. And we also have this group for public sector. And they'll be an integral part of our team. And the public institution and education solutions practice, they understand public records, they understand public procurement and all the requirements. And they have worked all over the country representing clients, acquiring sites for fire stations, police departments, headquarters, state highway patrols, you name it. And to talk a little bit more about you guys and kind of our process is, you know, the growth in Hamlin County has been amazing, and you have to have provide more citizen services. We will work with the county to address your needs and help establish your financial, operational, and qualitative criteria before engaging the market. Some kind of things we will ask about is, you know, what are you looking for? You know, why do you want to acquire this? You know, what are the county's long-term needs? Where do you want to be? What's your budget? That kind of thing. And we've got a whole process for that, which I think we discussed in our proposal. We will survey both on and off-market opportunities based on the county's needs. It doesn't matter if there's a sign on it. If you want us to go find it, we'll go find it. We've done that kind of work for many multinational companies throughout the region, and we will help you with that too. Another piece of what we will do is complete market studies. If we need brokers' opinions of value to give you a high-level idea of what the property's worth, we can do that. Strategize options and bring information so the county can make an informed decision. and we will also help assist with the due diligence process. And through all of this, we'll help make sure that you're negotiating better business terms and that those terms are reflected in legal documents. We've also got a more complete breakdown on or page 41 of the proposal. Again, thank you for inviting us to come talk today about CBRE, our team, and how we can do. And if y'all have any questions.
Mr. Tapp, I do. What I'm looking at right here is most of it that you deal with is industrial?
Yes, I do industrial and office, and John does office, but we also represent some folks from retail as well.
What gives you to say to somebody here in Hamilton County that you have a local knowledge? What local knowledge do you have here?
Sure. So we've worked off and on in Hamilton County over the years. There's probably going to be, Paul's definitely going to know Hamilton County, the ins and outs of where stuff's hidden better than we will, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to have the resources to find out.
So you are familiar with Hamlin County? I mean, well, you said over the years, so particularly last year you said there was $11.2 million in transactions. How many transactions total was that 11 point whatever million?
Total transactions? I've
Yes.
got no idea. That is from our national.
I mean, that could just be one transaction in that. I don't really know, but if you're doing industrial, that could have been one transaction.
Sure, I can get back to you on that.
Okay, well, that's fine. So on your sample contract that you provided, do you have a commission structure rate that you present, or how does that work?
So typically, we would get paid by the seller, and if it's listed, typically we split 50-50 with whoever the seller's offering or however they're cooperating. But you all did not ask us to address that in the.
No, I'm asking, I'm just asking, yeah, I got you. It wasn't part of the RFQ, I got you. But have you had any previous issues with other clients?
No.
Well, one was mentioned here, but
I don't know Mr. DeBoard.
I got
With
you.
him. It might have been my partner.
I got you. So you are the lead consultant for CBRE, and you would be the lead guy for our county, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you're located in Knoxville? Okay. Thank you, sir.
So you're saying that you will charge the seller of the property for all these extra services that you're going to provide to us for instructions on what the properties are worth and everything else, or so there won't be any charge to Hamlin County other than the price of the property?
That's typical.
Yeah, just making sure.
Yeah. I do have one other. In your RFQ, you stated the properties in Florida. Did you have any intimate knowledge of those purchases, or were you involved in those, or you just handle?
Deanne was. She's on our pies team.
I got you. So, I mean, y'all are a huge company, obviously, and you had a good presentation. I just wondered how that worked.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Tapp. Now we'll ask Mr. LaBelle to make his presentation.
I almost don't feel I need to introduce myself because my fan club did that for me. But I'm Paul LaBelle, LaBelle Commercial Realty. On my team is Will Sliger over here. We've been the county's broker since 16. You can ask the mayor, we perform the tasks you all have asked us to do. We are the lead commercial broker in this community. We know the people, we know the area, and we know the county. As you can see from our proposal, we have plenty of government experience, and the county's dealt with us, like I said, since 16. Will and I both, we live here, work here, we raise our kids here, we pay taxes here, and, we pray here. We feel we're the most qualified with our knowledge of the market, and our service with the county, I think, stands up for itself. So do you all have any questions?
Just briefly, any issues that you've had dealing with the county? Anything that you would, a blatant, something that you need to point out or anything like that?
No, I mean, our dealings with the mayor have been, I mean, he can speak for that. I mean, we've had no rubs or anything. I mean, it's been pretty smooth sailing.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. LaBelle, my question, I'll pose the same question I did Mr. Taft. Are your fee structures set up the same way, that everything will go towards the seller and not towards the county?
Well, you know, we've had issues with municipalities before. There's been some instances, as you've seen from my resume, we represent a lot of government groups. Our fee structure is typically, that is how it's done. I agree with Brian on that. But there has been episodes where to avoid eminent domain, we've had to structure things a little bit different, where the government entity has had to pay us our fee. And our fees are outlined in our contracts, you know, that we negotiate with the government entities. But 99% of the time, that would be an accurate statement.
Thank you, sir.
I like what's been told in the past to us, and that's to shop local. And here we are, we're shopping local. And of course, you said what I was going to ask, that you pay your taxes in Hamilton County.
Correct.
So, you know, that, to me, I think that's a plus right there. Shop local.
Then don't bother with the RFQs.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Good point.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Okay, we've had the Real Estate Agent Services 2022 evaluation tabulation. Those numbers have come back with CBRE at 630 and the LaBelle Commercial Realty at 765. And I would like to know if anyone has any additional comments or if we're prepared to go ahead and take a vote on the recommendation.
Question.
You have a question?
Prepared to vote.
Okay.
Joe had a question.
No questions, so we will go ahead and do our tally of our vote, and we'll vote this one verbally.
Okay, what will the motion be?
The motion is to determine who is going to be our real estate agent for 2022.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion that we vote on one of the two that are before us for our real estate needs.
I'll second that.
We've got a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion?
Randy DeBoard,
Paul LaBelle,
Chris Cutshaw,
LaBelle.
Howard Shipley,
LaBelle.
Eileen Arnwine,
LaBelle.
Thomas Doty,
LaBelle.
Tim Goins,
LaBelle.
Joe Huntsman,
LaBelle.
Jim Stepp,
LaBelle.
8 yes, 1 absent.
motion passes. Any further questions?
One comment is with the, you know, this will be a recommendation to the commission, which will be on the 21st. And, but Monday, I'll get with LaBelle Commercial Realty and get a contract ready to present Monday. So to meet the 10-day rule, and then you'll have it on the 21st to vote for that.
If there is nothing else, we're adjourned.